Wow. Honestly, I seriously apologize for the break in transmission. I told you our village, we have to climb trees, and I don't want to go outside because it will be distracting, and I'll be shouting or whatever. So I sincerely apologize for that. So from where we stopped from, I was explaining when you get. Sorry, I really apologize for the break in transmission. You should bear with us that we're in the village, and like I said, I used to say we need to climb trees sometimes before we can get our network. So welcome back. Now what happened is that so the onions, so when you get the onions, when you get the onions to the house, like I said, you keep some, you split it up. You keep some, you keep some, you keep split it. If you have 25 grams, split into five. Like I said, the 5 gram you'll be having 1,500 seeds, which which is supposed to grow into onions for you. So now with that, you already have your onion. So what you need to do now, if you don't have space at the back of your house, as in maybe if you've used everything, you can look for sack. There's something called sack, because there's something we call grow sack, black one. If you cannot afford to buy grow sack, just get all these cement bags or all these bags, used bags. Wash them thoroughly. Why did I say you should wash them thoroughly? Because they might affect the soil. Wash these bags, all these cement bags or other bags you can get, or even baco bag. Clean them very well. Then go look for soil. See, let me tell you, if you're looking for the soil to use, onions love a nutrient-rich soil. What's the nutrient-rich soil? Soil that, those period when we were living in the village, when we used to throw dustbin away outside, those bola. You will see the soil, they'll be very dark, and they'll be very dark in color and everything. Those are the kind of soil onion loves. Why did onion love this kind of soil? Because it's a bulb, it's producing a big size of something for you. So that is what it's going to be eating. That's what it's going to be feeding on. So what you can do, don't use fresh manure. Don't even use new manure for onion. Onion don't want you to go and get poultry waste and mix it with it. No. If you want to use onion with poultry waste or old manure, you will have to mix it long time ago so that it will have really decomposed. So you can't use fresh manure, not even only fresh. You can't even use dried one that you are just bringing for the onions. Now, when you get the soil, preferably that soil, those soil that are very black in color, dark in color, they are nutrient rich, or look for soil where there are plenty earthworms. If you see soil where plenty earthworms are moving, they are the good soil. Don't kill those earthworms. Pick them with the soil, then put them in those bags. Now, before you put them in the bags, those bags, give them a puncture. As you make holes, you can find scissors, give them puncture those bags, as in put a dot on those bags. The holes, put a holes on those bags. What are the purpose of the holes? The holes is for you so that when you put water, when you put the soil and you add water, if there's excess water, it can drain away from the bags. That's the essence. So those bags you want to use, punch them, as in just find, I don't know what you can, a sharp object. Punch. Don't punch that the soil will be wasting. Just punch. Punch it so that when you put water inside, when you are wetting, when you put the soil inside, if you over wet, the water can seep away through the holes underneath the sack. You have your bed where you want to plant already. So now, after you do that, the seed that you bring home, like I told you, there are plenty seed. If you don't have a floor, make sure that your bag, or look for a flat space. You look for a flat space. Under your flat space, the soil must be thoroughly loosened. You know why? Anything bulb, not even bulb, anything like tubers, cassava tubers or yam tubers or onions, they need somewhere where they need to be digging into the soil. The fruit, the plant, the bulb will be going into the soil. The root will be going into the soil so that they can form big big bulb for you. So in that case, what you need to do is you make the soil to be very loose. You cannot use clay soil. Clay will not allow water to penetrate. You cannot use sandy soil. Sand will allow too much water to rush away. So the best bet, like, go look for soil that are dark and they are not sandy soil and they are not clay soil, so that your water can maintain the water level. So now with this, with this arrangement, that seed, make some spaces on those beds and then sprinkle the seed, the onion seed you have, sprinkled it on it. What I mean by sprinkle, just spread small seed. If you have 20 bags or 10 bags, spread them little by little into those bags. If you are using the soil directly, you have space at your backyard, so you don't need to use bags or anything. It's even a good one. So if you are not using bags, that soil, prepare the width of the soil to be 1 meter wide. If the soil is 1 meter wide, the length could be any distance you have. Why did we make this the bed to be 1 meter wide? So that you can stretch your hand from any side of the bed to the other side, and you won't have to be kneeling down on the bed or be stepping on the bed. You'll be able to stretch your hand from this corner to this corner to be able to get to the plant. Now, with this, you prepare your soil. Even the soil that you want to prepare must be loosened. You know what I mean by loosened? Use some people, there's something they call garden fork in those days. If you know it, if you can make something like that, lose the soil, as in bring the soil up, loosen it very well. So when you loosen it very well, you can look for ashes. When they burn charcoal and everything, pour it, mix it with the soil. If you get like sawdust, if your soil is thick, is add little, not really sawdust, that one that is really very tiny, I don't know, there's a name they call it. Mix it with the soil to loosen it up. So then on it, make lines there on the soil. If you are using directly on the soil, make lines, and the space between the lines should be, just spread your finger. This space between the line, do something like this, and then make line on the beds. When you finish making the lines of the beds, then you place this onion one by one. Now, there's one thing. If you place the onion, if the onions are placed on top of each other, they will not survive because they will compete. One will be stronger than the other, and it will suppress the other one. So that is how you start your nursery. And like, we did tomatoes the way we normally do tomato farm. So just prepare your onion like you're preparing tomato farm. While your onion is there, you need to wet. You wet morning and evening for the next 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, the onion will come out at the end of 6 days. 6 days, you will have seen the onion coming out. Your onion will start coming out in 5-6 days. By 10 days, your onion is not coming out. Forget it, you don't have onions. As in, by 9-10 days, your onion did not germinate. Forget it. That's why it's good to buy a bigger container of seed so that you can repeat the process again. Like if you have 10 grams, you repeat the process again. Since you are practicing, I won't advise you now to go and plant on a large basis for this one. Practice first. So so if at the end of 8-9 days your onion is not out, forget that onion, is gone. So onions germinate in the next 5-6 days. 4-5-6 days, you should see the onion seed peeping out and coming out, and you keep wetting them. So you wet morning and evening because they are still at the tiny stage. By the time it's like 2 weeks, you reduce the water. Only wet once in a day, and preferably you can make it the evening time. So you reduce the wetting and you wet in a day. That system is called hardening. You are preparing the onion for when you will not be wetting it every day again, and you will only need to wet it maybe twice or thrice in a week. So it's called hardening stage on the nursery. After 4 weeks, your onion is matured. Your onion should be matured. Now, there's something on the onions. If you plant onion, it will start to bring, the leaf will branch into 2 spaces. It will start to bring different you understand? So, it is ready for transplanting when it starts bringing those things. I don't know if I can get network on the farm tomorrow, I might be able to just snap those stages, the nursery stages, to let you know. Like on the farm, we have the one that is mature for transplanting, and we have the one that is just struggling to come out, that is not yet mature for transplanting. So if I have the chance on the farm tomorrow and network, I'll maybe be able to bring it out so that you can see what I'm explaining. And then I think we should be nursing another one. When we are doing that nursery, I will tell one of my people there to take the video so that you can get it. So now with that onions, now after 4 weeks, like I told you, you reduce the water to once a day. After 2 weeks, after that 4 weeks, you now pick those onions. They will have grown to about they should have been like They should like be like, yeah, I'm trying to just figure it. I've never bothered about it. Okay, there is a pen. They should have been half of this pen, taller than half of this pen. As in half of this pen I'm holding, half of the size. Yes, after your 2-3 weeks, your onion should be something like this, half of this pen. If you still want it to grow on the bed, because if you leave it too long on the bed, it will start to form bulbs on the bed, that red side. That front one is green. The one that is coming out will be green leaf. But once you understand, so you have to move it from the bed before it start forming the bulbs. You understand? Which is about 4 weeks. So your onion should be ready for transplanting between 4th and 5th weeks. So when you now pick your onion, you now go like the bags you've prepared. You know, in your bags, you have malnourished, rich nutrient bulbs. If you are using bag, make sure the mouth is wide open. Don't fold the mouth. If you fold the mouth, it might open up and cover the onion. So make sure you cut it. Possibly cut the bag into 2. That sack, cut it half so that you know the bag is sitting there and it can't fold to cover the seed. So you now take the onion one. Now on the bed, on the bags, what you can do on the bags, I'm trying to figure out how you can do that. What you can do, your bag, make sure if possible, look for a stick and measure 10 and design 10 centimeter. 10 squared. Design 10 squared meter. 10 length, 10 breadth. Make sure it's a square, like a square. You join it together and make a square. Then on the bed, on the bags you want to transplant, that's the distance you should use. Each onion will be at the 10 meter apart and 10 meter on a row. You know what I mean? 10 meter this way, 10 meter that way. So whatever the bags can contain is what you should put in the sack. If you are using a normal soil, you are not planting yours in a bag. You are just planting on the floor. I told you your bed should not be wider than like 1 meter wide, so that when you are weeding, it will not be too difficult for you. If you have a very wide bed, you have to be stretching or kneeling down on the bed sometimes, which is not too good. So you have so on the bed too, 10 meter distance, then 10 meter length, 10 meter the onions. So the onions should be, what I did on my farm is we design something, a roller or a punch that we used to at 10 centimeter. Like I said, I pray I remember tomorrow. We have network on the farm. I might be able to pick the video. I might do the video so that you see those things I designed for the onion. So you now use them and punch them at 10 centimeter distance, because your onion cannot be bigger than that size. You know what I mean? So you move the onion. When you are moving the onion, you make sure you wet the nozzle very well. If the nozzle is not properly wet and you want to move the onion, it will be cutting off. If you take one, it will cut. And if the green one cut from the roots, then you don't have onion again. So for you to move the onion, you make sure you wet it very well, so that when you are holding the plant, it will all come out. The soil will not be holding it back, so that it will not cut. So you now move the onion into those holes you've made in your bags or on the bed on the space at your backyard. Like I said, if you have 1,000 seeds, you transplant them 10 centimeter. They don't take much space. Onion don't take much space. Like on a normal farm, if I'm planting on the farm, on my one bed, as in one row of bed that I designed for my farm, you will have 2,500 onion bulbs if they do very well. On a one bed that I have on my farm, you have 2,500. So, and you don't need that much at home, except you have a big garden at the back of your house. So now your garden, if you are not, for sack people, you don't need to raise anything. The sack is already losing and is raised up. For people that are using the normal soil, you need to till that soil and raise it to be about 3 centimeter high. As in, you will take, like I took the pen again. I'm sure this pen is almost 3 centimeter like this. So you take a stick or a measure, that soil that you're losing where you want to plant your onion, this my pen should be able to go in without force. As in, when I'm checking if the soil is losing, this pen should go directly into the soil and then, okay, fine. Without, I'm forcing it in. No, you don't have to force it in. You just press it in. It goes. It means your soil is losing. If your soil is not as losing as that level where you can just put stick inside and to go there, please don't plant onion inside. Like I told you, onion is a bulb. If it gets across a thick soil, it won't be able to go down again and you will have a smaller bulb. Then when you are transplanting, you don't need to you won't transplant deep. If the transplanting is the plant is like this, your onion must not be as tall as this before you move it from the nursery. I told you it should be half of this pen, like 1.5, like 1.5. This is like 30 centimeter, like 15 centimeter. Your onion must not be if it's as this big, it will have been forming that red one at the bottom, so it's not really good for you. So if you now check, your soil must be very loose, so you now move the onion into that soil one by one. Like I told you, that 5-gram seedlings that you bought is going to give you one. It's normally supposed to give you 1,500, but like I said, you make calculation for when you are nursery, some of the seeds will not germinate. When they grow up, some will die. When you are transplanting, some of them will die. So because of that 1,500, I don't work with 1,500. I will work with 500 onion. You understand? Okay, I will just assume from my 5-gram, if I can get 500 to 1,000 seedling survive and be able to move that 500 to 1,000 to a normal bed, and they survive, that means you have 500 onion bulbs, as in counting 111. Onion, is hard. There's some onion give you double, but most times they give 1. Instead, they get big. Now, like I said, now you transplant your onion. When your onion is on the bed, when you move it from that nursery where they are choked up, you are moving it to the bed, you need to wet it. For the first day, you wet it very well. You wet it even twice. You wet it extensively, so that the onion is like a jebo pikin, or a child that you are moving from one place to another. I'm living in Agua-Amodi now. If you move me to another village and you didn't acclimatize me with what they are doing there, I may start getting sick. Most times when trainees come here, after some time, they will get sick because they are changing environment. So the same thing with the onions you are planting. If you move them and you don't take proper care of them, they will die even where you move them to. They will all die. So if you don't want them to die, you keep giving them enough water. At some point, when your onions mature, already it has used 1 month in the nursery. I told you, your onion should be ready for transplanting between 4 weeks and 5 weeks, which is 4 months. On the bed, normal, when you move them to the bed, you keep continuously wet them. Now, the wetting on the bed, you can reduce to 3, depending on the sun, the area you are, the intensity of the sun in the area you are. So you now start wetting them thrice in a week. Minimum, give them water thrice in a week, and give intensive water. I already told you punch the base of your bag, so that if you have excess water, the water can seep away and you won't have to be waterlogging. The onion won't get waterlogged. But like I said, it's not every onion that you can plant in rainy season. It's not every onion seed that will survive tropical. We have different climate. Onion choose climate, or else we just plant some onion. If I plant the onion that is meant for rainy season, if I plant it in dry season, that onion will just be growing and growing and eventually go to seed. It will produce seed, yes, and you won't get anything from it. It will grow to seed. It will not give you bulb. So you have to plant the right onion variety, the right seed. Like I remember, this guy, my seed sellers gave me a book that have all the variety of onions and the months when you plant them and when you will harvest. I think they dashed me that about 2 years ago. I still have the book. When some of my students comes, I used to give them, go study this. And so you understand, onion is not every onion you can plant in rainy season. It's not every, but there you can plant onion. The point of bringing this video is you can plant onions all year round, and you can plant onion in every community in Nigeria. Yes, you can plant onion in the south. Okay, recently one of my trainees is working somewhere in the south, and they nursed onion. Though the challenge later told me is that okay, they didn't transplant on time because of the rain and every other thing. You can plant onion in the south, in the southwest, and now that they are declaring not bringing onions and everything, I think this is the best time for you to just go right back home, plant the one you will eat. You don't really need to, you understand? You can even dedicate it to your children. You can dedicate it to the people in the house. After, it's only the nursery stage that is a bit tedious. After the nursery stage, and you're able to move some into the main permanent space, you wet them thrice 3 times in a week. Give them intensive water, and you'll be fine. You'll be surprised after 2 months, not even up to 2 months, 1 month in the nursery. If they did very well and they're fast, 1 month after, you find out that they will start developing. When you transplant them, after a month, they start bringing in that red bulb. The more water you add to it, or if you cannot get dried poultry waste on the farm where the onion is, sprinkle it, dried one. Don't notice I mentioned dried poultry waste. While the onion is growing, that dried one looks almost, it's like powdered. You can sprinkle it on the onion belts and wet intensively. The onion it will support the onion to produce bigger bulbs for you. You know, the time they are producing bulbs, wet it, add extra and wet it intensively. So eventually, by the end of 3 months, 1 month in the nursery, 1 month to grow to something, and then the next 3rd month, you have your onion bulbs. But now, the other thing, when you have your onion bulbs, you see those bulbs, those red ones, the one we eat, you know, it will be having the green leaves, which is those people that buy spring onions. The green leaves, fresh leaf will still be there after 3 months, but you already have your bulb. The red one is there. So when the red one is there, now if you want to eat it fresh, if you are the type that hits the bulb, that hits the fresh one, that green one, that green, people that do salad and everything, that spring onion, you can start harvesting and eating. But if you are the type that you want to store it, you want to preserve it for the next 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, you want to keep it at home, you and your family, you have to leave it on the place to dry. You will not harvest it. It will stay like another extra month to dry. That green one, that green fresh one, will be drying up and be turning to brown color. It is when that the green leaves that first came out will be turning to brown color. So at some stage, it will first start bending down. As it's bending down, you know your onion is mature. You can harvest it fresh. You can heat it. But if you want to leave it to dry, you want to preserve it, that green one will start drying up. Even if it's rainy season, it will still dry up. It cannot stop its season when its season is complete. So once that one is dried up, you can now cut. It's fully dried up. You uproot the onions, cut that up one, cut it up, and dry it in the sun. Dry it for as much as possible so that place where you cut that off, if you don't dry it properly, that's where it will start decaying or getting spoiled. That's place where you cut off the green one that dried off. If you don't allow it to dry properly, that's the stage they call curing. You allow it to dry, it's called curing. So it is after this curing, you can store your onion. I remember the onion we planted last year. We planted it around July, August last year in Shaki, in Agua-Amodu. We planted it and we harvested by December. We started selling by December, though it was not fully dry. So we were selling with the fresh, the leaf, the fresh and everything. It was after, as I'm speaking with you, we still have it on the farm. My boys are still using it. Actually, it will have even stayed longer than that. My boys bring it out one day. They were helping me to dry and they left the rain to beat it. So what I'm telling you, so these are simple steps to plant your onion. You don't need much drama. Now, for those that would like to go into it on a large scale or whatever, we need, like now, there's one major thing I did not mention, which is good. Weeding the onion. Now, you know your onions is closely knitted. As in, imagine planting something at 10 centimeter. You will need to keep weeding like every 3 weeks. That's the major challenge. That is the obstacle. That's what I see that can discourage you. But if you don't have plenty, it's in your backyard. Your children will learn from it and they can be playing with it. So you have to continuously weed. And you know it's close knitted. You can't use chemicals. There's no chemicals you can use to weed it. There's nothing. What I did in my place here, for people that have been to my farm, we fabricated a kind of small hole. That hole, you just put it, instead of using ant to ant pick, because if you ant picking something grow fast back. So that hole, we now use it to move the weed in between the onions. I specifically designed it's a small tiny hole like this. I can show the sample maybe tomorrow or when next I'm doing a class like this. So you can use it to weed the onion instead of ant picking. So, and you be careful, because as you are weeding, once the bulb is out and you are weeding, if some of the bulbs are getting, and if you eat the hole or the bulbs, they might start decaying from there because they won't be able to dry it up. So you weed the onions. That's the major problem of growing onion. Actually, I thought that's why people don't grow onions, because the weeding might be a bit. And for people that felt, okay, look, I can afford, instead you can do mulching. There's natural mulching and there's plastic mulch. Like for my farm, for this season of onion, we are planning to plant a large scale because we target to sell in December. So because we are planning to plant a large scale, and I told them, look, this weeding, I pity those boys the way they weed all the time. So where I have some part of mulching film, the plastic mulch. So we'll be using it for like 10, we'll be using the mulch for like 10 beds, as in to cover 10 beds to reduce weeding. But the remaining beds now we now use manual to weed it. So these are the ways you can grow your onions, and I hope some people have learned here. You can send me your questions after the class. I will attend to it, or you look forward to joining me another time. Then I also have a book for those that want to go commercially, or even you want to grow, or there are some things you don't pick up here and everything. I have an e-book I prepared. It's just, I said the book is 2,000 naira, but it's worth more than what you expect. I've written the book sometimes. People have been buying it, and I think I was forced to write it when I discovered people don't even know onion have seed. Most people in the southwest, we don't know that onions have seed. So you can grow your onion by the seed. So if you want the book, you can contact me to get the book. It's an e-book, right? But believe me, the way I put my books. It's not much. It's just a short one, because even right now, I'm writing on irrigation, the best method of irrigation, and how you can, the best method of irrigation, and then the cost. People have been asking me, what will it cost me to set up an acre of irrigation? So I'm putting it, I've even finished, it's just to do some finishing touches and everything, so that people can have access to it, because there's a lot, you need to gradually change so many things in the farming system. So thank you for joining me, and I hope I've been able to sensitize somebody. So we don't need to let somebody give us some hypertension. Grow onions in your backyard. If you are looking for onion seed, you can get across to me. For now, I want to advise. See, onion seeds varies. We have the hybrid, we have the local breed, not local, we have the open pollinated, we have the hybrid, and so the prices varies. But for a start, for beginners, please, I will say go for the smaller one. Use it to practice. But for people that want to go on a commercial scale, yeah, you can consider. You should also even practice before going for the hybrid. No, because if you don't practice, or you don't understand how to grow it, and you buy expensive seed and you use it and you don't get anything, you'll be wasting money, you'll be wasting time, you'll be wasting resources. So I'll still advise you should practice with a smaller one first. So thank you for joining me, and catch you some other time again. Our community. So any questions, I will attend to it after the class. Just put it there. I will attend to it. Thank you.